Say hi to our YouTube friends watching right now. Byron Tyler here with Danny Sinquefield, pastor of Faith Baptist Church, and we're in the studio about to record an upcoming Pastors Forum radio show, and so we thought we'd let our YouTube friends join us and just see what goes on behind the scenes in making a radio show happen. So we're going to start. Thanks for watching. Welcome to this week's Pastors Forum. I'm Byron Tyler. Glad to have you here as we kick off 2019. 2018 is behind us now, and we're starting off a brand new year. And I've got a dear friend that I can't be more excited to have in the studio as together we look at the hopes and dreams of 2019 together. Pastor Danny Sinquefield of Faith Baptist Church. Danny, Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Thank you, Byron. It is so good to be with you, and I'm grateful to have this opportunity to share with you a little bit of our excitement about 2019 as well.
And before we get into the details and some of the dreams and things that you have for the folks at Faith Baptist, some of the ministries that you're involved with, you did something recently for the first time. You took your wife on a hunting trip.
You know, that is one of those memories that we made together that I think will stand out in the annals of the great moments of our marriage. You know, we've been married now coming up on 38 years, and that was the first time, this is the first season, that she's ever said to me, I think I want to go deer hunting. And so we went immediately to the sports store, got her all the gear, and she got up early, bless her heart, on a cold morning, and we sat in the deer stand, didn't see a thing. But we had a great time of fellowship together and had a memory. It was a great time.
So I'm not a hunter or deer hunter. Do they make deer stands that are for more than single? You can put multiple people in the deer stand?
That's right. Deer stands can be as rustic as you want them to be, literally standing out on a limb somewhere in the stark cold. We have friends who have what I call the Taj Mahal of deer hunting houses. So she got spoiled. It was an enclosed house with a heater in it, coffee pot, the whole thing. So
if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right.
That's what I thought. She would enjoy that, but never go to the rustic ever again.
You know, someone gave me tickets to one of the Memphis Tiger football games last season that were up in the I guess the press box, not the press box, but the family. You know, these really nice suites. They're actually what they are. You can get like 16 people. They have these. It's all enclosed.
They feed you the whole thing.
Oh my goodness! Yes. It's a barbecue buffet.
Right.
And so I took my family and a few friends. We went there and enjoyed that. And then somebody was saying, I never want to go see a Tiger game, down there now that we've enjoyed.
Right. You've been spoiled. That's
We've been spoiled. Something about that, I think there's going to be some spoiling kind of when we go to heaven.
Wow.
You think that?
I agree with the scriptures that say eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has entered into the hearts and minds of men, all the things that God has in store for those who love him. So all the things that we enjoy, the adventure, the fellowship, the camaraderie that we enjoy as brothers and sisters in Christ is going to be magnified, multiplied many, many times over. I agree that it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing.
We lived on the island of Guam as missionaries back in the mid-'90s, and one of the things I enjoyed was being certified to scuba dive, and had some incredible opportunities to dive over some beautiful reefs, And one time I remember specifically, just all of a sudden I started looking at all the intricacies of the underwater world, creatures that you don't see up on land, all the uniqueness of coral and different kinds of species, and I thought, my goodness, what's heaven going to be like?
Wow. Yeah. The other side of that is there are things in heaven, obviously, that we have not been able to see or comprehend. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I was also comparing the fact that I had to be adapted to the underwater world with a scuba tank and a mask and a breathing apparatus to be able to accommodate that environment. And I was saying, God has a body for us to accommodate
Amen.
The glories of heaven with him forever.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah. You've been pastoring now at Faith Baptist for 24 years. Back in October, you celebrated the 24th anniversary. What's that journey been like for you?
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for asking, Byron. 24 years at one church. In fact, it's the only church that I've ever served as senior pastor. I am their first full-time senior pastor. Rhonda and I and our three little boys came to be the pastor at Faith Baptist when they were very small. The boys were third grade, first grade, and 18 months old. And it was a new church. It was about a year old. So our church family just last year, in fact, about a year ago in 2018 in February, celebrated its 25th anniversary. So I've been, front row seat for 24 of those 25 years. And we have had an incredible journey. For me personally, longevity in one church is all about sharing life with people and the joys, the sorrows. Seeing now, students who are in college. Well, I was with their parent. I did their parents' wedding, or I, baptized their mom and dad.
Yeah.
And I can literally say to young adults now who are in our congregation, I have loved you your whole life.
Wow.
And then, what a joy to see people grow and develop, mature.
Yes.
Many of our members, of course, grow into their own ministry. Some of them go off into the ministry field, mission field. Some of them go to help church plant, be a part of our church plants. But to know that we've had, 2.5 decades basically of influence in the greater Mid-South area and God's hand and God's blessing, we are humbled and grateful for that goodness of God on our church family.
I can only imagine there's been times throughout the past 24 years that you've been approached by pulpit committees and other people to say, hey, would you come consider our church? Has there ever been a temptation? And maybe you can't say that publicly, No,
that's good. Yeah, we talk about it. We talk about it in pastoral ministry class. I get to teach once in a while at the seminary. We talk about those kinds of moments. Yeah, obviously, especially when you're younger, when things are going really well and you're younger. By the time you're 50, 55, something like that, maybe not so much. But there have been a few times and a few interesting opportunities that have come up, to go and serve in some really good churches and great cities. And one funny story real quickly, we had a wonderful church family that we had agreed to talk to, and they were going to bring their pulpit committee over from, I won't say the name of the church, but it was a large congregation in East Tennessee. Just, based on location alone, Rhonda and I were, we were certainly interested, but it was a wonderful group of people. Well, they pulled up in our parking lot on a Sunday morning to come and hear me preach in their church van. So much for incognito, so much for, being a little bit discreet. But yeah, we've prayed through several times, but every time that we've prayed through that significantly and seriously, it has not been the right timing.
Yeah.
And, or it has not been the right moment for us because we weren't finished. And so that's what we felt like all this time, where we say no to one church, we keep saying yes to faith. We keep saying yes to God's call there. And the good news is that up until now, unless the Lord has something for me tomorrow or next week, I'd love to finish here. I'd love to finish strong. We'd love to stay another few years and see what God has in store. It's a great congregation.
Something that you and I share in common, my wife Pam and I share in common with you and your wife Rhonda, is we both have 3 sons.
That's right.
Something kind of cool about having boys, isn't it?
Yeah, we've enjoyed boys. And, I think some parents are cut out better for boys and girls. I think I would lose my mind if I had to raise girls in this culture. But, the thing that I'm kind of longing for, now we have boys. 2 of them are married. Our 3rd son will be married in a few weeks. He's getting married in April. And so we love our daughter-in-laws. These are great young ladies that have come into our family, and they have been like, now my adopted daughters. They call me Papa, and I love that so much. And we have our 2 oldest sons, both of them have 2 sons each. So we have 3 sons, 4 grandsons. That would be 0 for 7
in
the
goodness.
Girl department.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just we're gonna fill the earth with Sinquefield boys.
So far we have gone the other direction. I have the 3 sons, and my middle son and his wife, Colleen, Jason and Colleen, have our 2 granddaughters.
Yeah.
And you talking about something totally different, having girls in the home.
Game changer. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. The first birthday of my oldest granddaughter, who will soon be 6, I remember we were celebrating birthday number 1, and my daughter-in-law was busy in the kitchen doing things, and she handed me a dress and a diaper, and she said, for the birthday party, she said, change your poppy.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck with that.
Anyway.
Well, good for you. I'm a little jealous about the girls, but good for you.
Yeah, but I know you're having a great time with those boys. I mean, there's something, I think being called to be a grandparent to me is even greater than being called into the ministry. I mean, there's something about
Wow, it's a huge blessing. What a gift. And, for me to hear those little boys say Papa, and for Rhonda to be called their Mimi. And, we're fortunate, we're blessed because our families are close by. We're literally 5 minutes from, all of our kids and grandkids. And we know that's not always going to, necessarily be the case. But for this moment, this season, we want to invest well. We want to influence them as much as we can for the kingdom.
Yes.
And, we believe what the Bible says, that children are an heritage of the Lord. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are the children of our youth. And so we want to launch those arrows of godly young men into a world that desperately needs to know and hear the gospel.
I know in 24 years, you've had to see a lot of changes in the way culture affects family. And we know there's increased divorces and increased confusion in homes today, with all the things that are pressures that are forcing on, husband and wife to not be together,
Sure.
in this culture. How does today's church answer that? And how do you as a ministry stand and try to provide that kind of support that families need?
I think most every pastor I know would agree that it is heartbreaking when we see families go through the conflict and that subsequently ends up in separation or divorce. And the enemy is literally lobbing the big grenades, the heavy artillery at our homes, our families. We understand that from Scripture. For me personally, I just feel very strongly that we've got to model godly Christian marriage and godly Christian parenting as pastors and leaders. We need to, teach that well. We need to offer opportunities for folks to have training and being equipped in this culture that we live in. It's ever more difficult, I think, for young families to find their way, to find their place, to find their foundation around the covenant of marriage. We need to get back to some basic understanding of what does that mean. It's not about being happy. I teasingly, but really honestly say sometimes, even for the pulpit, the next time I hear someone say, I'm not happy anymore in my marriage, that's why I'm getting a divorce, I'm gonna lose my mind one of these days, because it's not about being happy. It has something to do with God bringing about in us a holiness and growing us to godliness in our marriage relationships.
Well, you mentioned you've been married 38 years. I'll be married 35 years in May of this year. And even I know as those in the ministry as a pastor, I mean, it's not always happy,
Right.
I mean, you have struggles yourself that you have to deal with,
Sure, it's a living, breathing thing. The marriage and the family. We grow, we learn. We have to have as much fun as we can and laugh while we can, because we know there's going to be time for tears, time for difficulty, time for sorrow, time for sickness. We get all that, but it's the journey of life. Kind of like what you said about pastoring a church. Man, there have been seasons. I tell folks all the time when I'm speaking to pastors, particularly about revitalization in their churches, what do you do? How do you get things back? Well, we've revitalized our church about 20 times, about every year or so. You have to go through a revitalization. It's got to be new momentum and, injecting of new ideas and new creativities. And you're always, finding new faces and seeing more people come into the body, and you're trying to see them grow in their faith. So it's a process, just like marriage.
Yeah, it definitely is a process, Danny. We move here this new 2019 brand new year. Do you have traditions, or do you make resolutions? I know some people say that's not good to do, but what are some things that you like to do as you make a marker to say goodbye to 2018 and start off a new year?
Sure. One of the things that I really love to do early in the year is kind of lay some foundations for vision casting next, what we're up against, where we are, what's God saying to me. Our people really do come hungry, I think, in all of our churches. They want to know, what is God laying on the heart of our pastor? Where are we going from here? What's going to be our direction, trajectory? What's our next? And so we, by this time of the year, we have a sense of that. We're looking forward to, there's some more work to be done. There's some more things that we've got to advance the gospel in some new ways in our community, across our country. We're involved right now. We've just come through our faith mission offering for the 2019 era. And man, our folks are so gracious. They're so generous. And so we're this year looking at some new partnerships, some new work, some church planting. One of our new church plants is going to be over in Montana. We're involved in church plants in Las Vegas, and just over in Portland, Oregon area. And so we're excited about, what God's got for Faith Baptist next. And also, really this year, one of the things we're going to be doing and engaging is loving our city. The 901, focus on the 901. We're going to be after that with a new tenacity. Faith is making some strong commitments to engage the lostness in our great city.
And when you talk about getting together for vision casting, do you include your staff with those kind of things? Do you get together for retreats and get input from your staff when you're trying to look at those dynamics?
We do. Actually, we usually take a couple of retreats a year. So ours next will be early in this year to be thinking about 2020. And then we'll do a fall retreat as well. Some of that obviously is just prayer time together and play time together, but we do plan and look toward the future. So we'll be coming this month and the next few weeks, really, in 2019, to laying some framework for where we're going next to faith.
Danny, Faith Baptist located North Germantown Parkway in Bartlett, Tennessee, just I guess that'd be north of Highway 64 as you move away from the Wolf Chase Galleria Mall. Right. Give us, there's a website?
There's a website. Our website is, of course, myfaithbaptist.org. Very interactive website. We also have podcasts. My Faith Baptist can get you there as well. So we encourage your listeners to come and check us out.
I hope they will. Hey, listen, we're going to have to pick it up next week and continue the conversation if that's okay.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
All right. Well, friends, that's all the time we have on this week's Pastors Forum. I do appreciate you stopping by, visiting today with Pastor Danny Sinquefield of the Faith Baptist Church in Bartlett. We're going to learn more and have some more good times with Danny next week. Be sure and join us. I'm Byron Tyler. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.